Notice that in every moment, at every moment of your day, at every moment of your life, at every moment now, during this talk, there is your capacity of the mind actually to be in perception, to be completely immersed in what you are hearing, be completely immersed in what you are seeing, be completely immersed in whatever perceptions, sensations, ideas, memories, lessons, knowledge you actually connect what I am talking about with. And there's also always awareness, also already present here and now. And you can either actually heighten that simple resting as awareness, the awareness aspect of yourself, or you can be in perceptions, in ideas, in in whatever you are experiencing at this moment of time. So there's always awareness already here that can be heightened, or your personal mental ideas that can actually be heightened or be stressed in a way. So you're either residing as what you are, or you are immersing yourself in the realm of experience. And most people only have experience. Their whole life, there will be nothing else but their mind, the interpretation of their minds, of what they are perceiving. That's their whole their whole gamut with which they go through life. And from that gamut, everything is outside of yourself. Every encounter, every object, every experience, every other person, every idea of your body, of your sense of self is somehow objectified. There is no other chance for the mind. The mind can only function when it localizes itself, when it becomes a focal point of consciousness, and when it creates distance too. So you will see that you, in order to judge, evaluate, have an idea, have any judgment actually on what is occurring, you will always need to create distance to it. There's always a distance to objects so they can be perceived, a distance to like you look in the mirror, you have a distance to the perception of yourself. That's when you start evaluating what you see. In that way, that's usually the only reference people have, is to create, to objectify, to create a world of objects that can be perceived. And there's never a question actually occurring into what is aware of everything that is arising. There's actually never really an inquiry happening into the awareness itself. It's then evaluated as some personal awareness, but not going deeper into what is aware even of that so-called personal awareness. And when you think of personal awareness, what people term personal awareness, it is often actually what you witness your perceptions, and those perceptions get evaluated, get judged. You are thinking about your live stream, you're thinking about other people. This we call personal awareness, an awareness of what is happening, and then you have a chance to evaluate or judge what you are actually perceiving. This is what we call personal awareness, and this often gets muddled up with you being consciousness, you being awareness. The awareness that you are essentially is not personal awareness. It isn't something that evaluates your live stream or objects or other people or yourself or whatever. It is simply the fact of being aware. It is what is only aware, what is existing without judgment, what is aware of even judgment. So it is this, like the space, the spaciousness of yourself, your own spaciousness. Space has no idea of what is actually happening in a space. The space of the room doesn't evaluate what is in the room, doesn't evaluate whether it likes the table or the chair in the room. It has no opinion about it. And the discovery that you want to make is the discovery of that spaciousness, of that screen, of what is not a judgment, what is not an idea, an evaluation, a sense of self, but what is continuously present. Obviously, even thinking about it, you will have to admit that this spacious quality of not having an opinion of whatever is actually inside of the space is an immense source of peace. It's like, even if you haven't come into contact with it, you can imagine that. If there is no evaluation about what is happening inside of the space, even when all objects can be exactly as they are inside of the space, then obviously there's no friction, there's no tension. The tension can only come within duality. The friction can only come from mind. The friction can only come when there is something that is objectified. It always needs duality. It always needs duality to create tension, to create friction, to create, actually, if you boil it down. But what is behind it rests in oneness and has none of these parameters. And this is discoverable. You being consciousness or awareness, purely, not personal awareness, but purely that which is aware, can be heightened, can be strengthened. Your knowledge of yourself can be strengthened. This is when peace creeps in, and the more you become aware of it, of what you are essentially, the more this actually comes to the foreground also of experience, infuses all experience. This is a this is a different form of wisdom, of jnanam, than any other knowledge. It's a wisdom that transforms how you perceive the world, that transforms how you see experience, that transforms how you experience also. Because the part of you that is simply aware is then also always present. So there is something arising, even arising within you, an emotion, a thought, whatever it is. But the essential timeless nature is also known and thereby perceived and thereby um, infiltrating, or better said, illuminating all that is experienced inside of the space. Yoga talks a lot about yun yin. It comes from the word yuja, to unite, to connect. And the Yogasutra talks a lot about different forms of yun-yin. Your union with your essential union, actually, with consciousness, knowing you are that consciousness. Consciousness is your timeless nature. But it also talks about what happened to you, what is delusion, how did this actually happen, and to its primal function of yoga philosophy is to make you aware that there are essentially, you could say, even though it is in the end it is all one, there is oneness that's undeniable, but that you even become aware. There is my essential nature that I can actually also discover. So it's not like this flying saucer that people hope to find and that's somehow swirling about, but it is discoverable as what you are, as your essential nature. And there are the contents of the mind, there are perceptions, sensations, etc. And to even start being wowed, actually, what to each one of us is happening or has happened, this veiling, in the form, I only know experience, I only know perception, I only know what my life is like, I only know what I see, the complete delusion that comes from the senses. My senses stipulate something for me. They tell me that this is the world. They tell me that all of this is real. They tell me that there is something that exists independently from me. The moment you step yourself back and see that it all actually arises out of awareness or inside your awareness, that any perception that you have of this world, what it has in common is that you are aware of it. So there's always actually awareness. Without your awareness, nothing appears. Nothing is there. Nothing actually can actually claim an existence. Existence, everything arises not independently from, but depending on awareness. Everything comes from awareness, essentially. And to even to start waking up to see this, wow, I've never actually inquired into this. I never actually saw this. There is something deeper there that is aware. I want to get to know to that. I want to go all the way. I want to be a real explorer, a real discoverer. And I actually want to find this, find my true nature, find my essential beingness, go back to that level of being. The sutra that I want to talk about says that it says that this union between what is perceivable, drishyam, between what we can see, between perceptions and consciousness, what's the cause for it? Like, why does it even exist? It exists for you to become aware that essentially all arises from and in awareness. So you want to become aware of that true nature. It's part of its cause. This whole show, this whole world that you have, part of why it is there, essentially, is that you become aware of your true nature. It enables that actually for you. It enables this brilliant discovery that is there to make for everyone to understand their own infinite nature, to understand their own limitlessness, to understand that consciousness is what everyone essentially is, to not get hung up by whatever the mind stipulates, by whatever is perceived even. Don't get deceived by what is perceived, but actually abide, know yourself again. So all these appearances, the cause for the union, this intense union, why is this even happening? Is to first of all to discover your true nature, to discover that no matter what appears, no matter how positive or negative the person finds whatever is appearing, it is all seen from awareness in the same manner, like space. No, like in your spaciousness, like your spaciousness sees all that is arising with the same with the same eyes, and you can discover yourself as that rather than what what the contents of the mind or the perceptions continuously suggest to you. And the second thing the sutra says, what is the reason that for this intense union that we never really investigated between consciousness and the mind, or the mind-body construct, or the mind consciousness and your so-called person, is to discover that consciousness, what you are, is the master of all appearances. This sentience, this infinite intelligence of what you are, is the master of all appearances. Again, nothing. You are spaciousness. Nothing arises outside of you. Nothing arises outside of consciousness, outside of awareness. It comes out as the expression of consciousness. Everything, this whole world, is an exhibition, is a continuous exhibition and expression of you. You as consciousness, you as your limitless nature. Your limitlessness, your infinity, shows up as all of these diverse, beautifully intricate, individual beings. All these different minds, these different perceptions, these different evaluations, these different judgments, the duality, what is behind all of this is the same consciousness. It's the same beingness. And what's the master of this is also consciousness. As you step yourself farther back, as you start abiding more as awareness, as you become aware more of your spaciousness, more of this unfathomable mystery that is this world, of this creation that comes out of the same consciousness that orchestrates everyone's experiences, awakening journey, your journey to a T in this conglomerate of millions of people. It is all perfected and arising from consciousness. Consciousness is the master. To also understand this, but also understand you are that consciousness. You are that. So it's not to create again the duality to your God self, duality to consciousness. No, you are consciousness. And that's why these teachings are so often so misinterpreted. Any of these deeper self-realization teachings, actually, no matter whether from religion or the beautiful philosophies that we have that try to point you back, it's very, very difficult because, again, to even say something means I need to use the mind, or the mind is being used in my case. The mind is being used, but it needs to create this object duality. It needs to be something that needs to be understood, or hopes to be understood, or hopes to be pointed to. Ultimately, also to collapse the mind. But still, it's very difficult conceptually because, again, what you are actually meant to be pointed to is non-conceptual. It cannot be explained. It cannot be put into words. It can only be recognized. It can only be discovered by yourself. It needs that. Needs to be discovered by yourself. Many of the Upanishads actually show like an old format of teaching, where the teaching was just, there was just this tiny teaching given. And then the people would go back and they would actually sincerely inquire and ask into themselves and trying to find what is talked about. Not just a simple practice, but really trying to find this. And from trying to find this, questions would arise, and then they would ask these questions or come back and talk about finding. I have found this or that. This is where what I have found, and then teaching can also prompt you deeper. It's a different form. If there's just mental, if the teachings just stay mental, there's just a mental understanding of what is talked about here, but you never go actually into finding, into investigating, into discovering, into setting yourself to continuously see this, that there is awareness also here, and there is the continuous mind, the ongoing show to see what am I heightening in each moment, where am I resting, am I am I resting in experience? Am I completely enmeshed in experience? Am I in that positioning that continuously evaluates the descriptions that my senses give to me? Or am I simply open in the spaciousness that I am and starting to witness? Or am I going back even further and asking, what is it that is aware of all of what I am what I am perceiving? How deeply do I want to actually go into infinity? That's a question each one of you has to ask themselves. How deeply do I want to know my God self? How boundless how boundless do I actually want myself to know myself as? You can all know yourself as the boundless consciousness that you all are. But this is like it's a decision you make in every moment, actually, whether you want to know truly or whether you still want to postpone postpone your awakening, postpone your recognition, postpone your realization of of who you are. So the truth of the reason why there is this intense union between consciousness and the appearances, ultimately is there for you to recognize that consciousness, to recognize that you are that consciousness, and also for you to recognize that the ultimate master of all appearances is that consciousness, that they all arise from this, and that they all arise from source and from the ultimate love, actually, for the ultimate love that shows itself as all these different perceptions and experiences and possibilities for each one to experience what they want to know, to experience as consciousness and for consciousness, and to generate, actually, to generate as an exhibition of consciousness all these different life streams that are because they are all ultimately exhibiting the same consciousness. There's also they're all affecting one another. You It doesn't like we cannot, it's very, very difficult, again, because of the mind's only capacity to understand something by objectifying. And you can only, your finite mind can only see what is affected actually through maybe a perception of a direct contact or a direct interaction. You cannot see that something is actually not separate already here. There's a dimension of yourself where you are that doesn't even need the physicalized, crystallized version of yourself, like an iceberg. It's actually the smallest part of you. It's very beautiful. You have your senses to experience things and to create this this illusion for you. But there's also something that doesn't need interaction. It is already one. It is already and is also continuously actually part of this one show of everyone. So even if you don't interact, there is the consciousness, the sentience, the knowingness of everyone is also already present. It already exhibits itself at each moment. It is already it is immediately known by everything, everyone. So consciousness is the master of your life, but you are that consciousness. You are this eternal, infinite, beautiful consciousness in which and out of which the world, your life, everything you perceive arises. That's this Yogasutra that points you back. Namaste.